Hey guys, what's up? Chris Blum here with another video, and today I am traveling. I'm actually in Belgium right now. Here's a quick view from my hotel room. It's been raining a lot, but wanted to do a quick video, another viewer request on security deposits, what they are and how they are decided. So security deposit is probably a term that most people are familiar with from the residential sphere, whether renting an apartment or a house or even a bank hold on a credit card during a hotel stay. And in the commercial sphere, it operates pretty much the same way. So a security deposit is a sum of money that is set aside in a separate account or is pledged in the form of a letter of credit to a landlord in the case that the tenant defaults or is no longer paying rent. Where it gets a little nuanced in commercial real estate is that the deposit is not only hedging or protecting the landlord from the rent that they would receive, but also the money that they've spent up front. That includes the tenant improvement dollars that they've spent on the space, as well as other transaction costs, such as broker fees, attorney fees, anything required to get the deal done. So how is the security deposit decided upon? Typically, a landlord will request company financials along with a proposal and review in parallel. Ideally audited financials, so 2 to 3 years tax returns, profit and loss statements, and a balance sheet. But this isn't always possible. If you're a startup and haven't been around that long, you may provide bank statements or anything else that can help the owner get a sense of your company's financial standing. So essentially what an owner is trying to decide is how much money is a company making, how much money are they spending, and how much runway does that allow them? How long are they going to be in business, in other words? So a quick tip here is don't simply provide the landlord with your financials and let them decide the narrative. Give them the narrative. If you're about to close a new round of funding, let the owner know. If you are about to enter a new stage of development in your product, or your product is about to go on sale for the first time, let them know. If you're going to have new sources of revenue, if expenses are going to decrease, anything that you can do to provide the strongest narrative on your company will help with minimizing your security deposit and making the owner comfortable with your company renting his or her space. So how are security deposits structured? After the landlord has had a chance to review your financials, they'll typically request a security deposit in the equivalent of a month's rent. In my market, 1 to 6 months rent is normal. This may be different in your market, so I would ask your broker, but let's say they ask for a 3-month security deposit. So this is not you paying 3 months rent up front. This is a separate amount of money that's going to be held till the end of the lease or until a tenant defaults and is then going to be applied to cure that default. So another thing I would point out is that each landlord is going to approach your financials in a different way and is going to arrive on a different security deposit. So you may be negotiating on several buildings at once, and the same tenant may have different security deposits requested. So it is definitely not industry standard, and there's no specific set of rules for deciding upon a security deposit. Another thing I would say is that security deposits, like any other lease point, is negotiable. And so if you're willing to compromise on other points, you may be able to get the landlord to lower the security deposit. Once the security deposit is decided upon, they are typically held in 2 ways. One is in cash in a separate bank account. So you, the tenant, would write a check to the landlord and they would hold that money again, either until the end of the lease or until the default, or in the form of a letter of credit. So to do this, the tenant would go to a bank and put up collateral as well as pay an origination fee. And in return, they would have a letter of credit that would pay out if certain conditions are met. In this case, you would set it up to where the landlord was the beneficiary, and if the tenant defaulted or didn't pay their rent, then that letter of credit would pay out. Cash security deposits are probably more prevalent, but it's worth asking your broker and banker which option is right for you, as a letter of credit may allow for more capital to be used up front for helping your company grow and thrive versus the cash security deposit that would be held in a landlord bank account. So I hope you enjoyed this quick video on security deposits, and as always, if you're enjoying the content, consider subscribing, and if you have any questions that you would like to see answered, leave them in the comments below.